It's March, which means it's time for another episode of Nick Madness 2018 Character Edition. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Casey. Last time we talked about the first week of Nick Madness, and we previewed the round 2 matchups. We also checked in on your guys' prediction brackets to see how everybody was doing at the time.
Yeah, and we've definitely had some interesting things happening in the week. Definitely some things that our predictions did not match up on, but hey, what are you gonna do?
That's for sure. Yeah, it was a little more predictable than we thought it was gonna be, but just wait for this episode, you guys. Crazy stuff went down.
Yeah, which, throws us into, this is our round 2 results. We're going to preview the third round coming up. I think that the third round, Casey, I have so many question marks now. Like, I felt more confident last week in what I thought things were going to be, and now I am just so thrown.
Total
Not
chaos.
just based on the winners, but the percentages too have thrown me a lot.
Yep, we've been plunged into total chaos in this tournament, and you know what? I love it.
Yeah, and I will openly admit right now that I will be more than happy if I lose the predictions, so long as I think whoever does win the championship, not like whoever predicted the championship, but whichever character wins the championship, is a deserving character.
I love the idea that you'd be, like, furious if a certain predictor won the whole thing. Like, oh, come on.
That's why I had to clarify. I think
Ray
anyone
won? Are you serious?
But if certain characters won,
yeah,
I'd be a little salty, I'll be real. But, anyways.
Yeah, so, alright guys, well follow us on Twitter at FNN_podcast and Facebook.com/FNN podcast. Check out our YouTube page and review us on Apple Podcasts so others can find the show. We do all of our voting for Nick Madness on Twitter, so we've had great voting turnout. Keep it up, guys. We love it.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that these get even bigger as these games get even higher stakes. We haven't had any polls quite as close as last year, guys, but last year, one vote made the difference in many cases, so make sure you're watching those. And with all of that said, thanks so much for tuning in. Now let's get started.
From the Nicktoons Animation Studio in Hollywood.
Alright guys, so we now have a Sweet 16, the Final Four of each conference. So in a way, we've got 4 Final Fours. It's like 4 times the excitement, right? Is that how that works?
Yes, but it somehow still gets more exciting going on, guys, so...
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the results of the previous round that got us from 32 to 16, and we're going to preview round 3. So we're going to do that all right now. We'll get to your predictions in just a bit. But Ashley, why don't you start us off with the first matchup of round 2 in Conference A?
Now, I think I am along with everyone here when I say I was stunned that Tommy Pickles beat Ren. I just thought for sure that Ren and Stimpy was going to pull through as the iconic show that it is. No, I mean...
Wah, wah. This did eliminate Ren and Stimpy, the show, from the tournament as well. So my dad had both of them going very far, so that decimated his bracket.
Yeah, Tommy Pickles got 91%. This wasn't even remotely close. Tommy's an iconic character. Ren is Ren.
Ren was my answer in Allie the writer's interview of which Nick character I would least like to be stuck in an elevator with, because dear God.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think I did Courtney just based on her personality, but yeah, no, Ren.
Very solid call.
Ren would be rough. But anyways, this one's not too interesting. What I think is going to be more interesting though is who he's matched up against. So do you want to relay what happened between our 5 and 4 seed there?
Yes, in game 2 we have our first upset of this round, Azula over Lois. Not a major upset seed-wise, but Azula, the 5 seed, dominated Lois, 82% of the vote for Azula. So like we talked about last week, the Avatar fan base has shown up. all of the Avatar people have been doing very well, and the only Avatar character to be eliminated so far lost to another Avatar character.
Yeah, I am going to say for my prediction bracket, I'm a little nervous. I think I severely underestimated the Avatar fan base, but as a huge Avatar fan, I'm more than happy with these results going this way. I will vote for Azula all day. I will vote for Prince Zuko all day. Like these are not characters that I'm upset to see going further, even if, well, I think I had Azula winning, but regardless, I think in general that Avatar characters are feeling likely to go further than I originally anticipated.
Yeah, I would even say, so I think as we create the next game in the tournament, we can talk about it. So, like, now we know that it's Tommy versus Azula. And I think Azula's probably the favorite here. Am I wrong?
I think I'm going to agree with you on that one. And I actually don't remember if that's what I said was going to happen way back when.
Let's find out. You have Tommy winning.
Yeah. No, I have Azula.
Oh, I was looking at Ray. Ray has Tommy. I was thinking you were in first. How foolish of me.
No. I say it looks like you and I both have Azula winning.
Yeah, we do. Look at that.
Which, so at least I've got that one going for me. And we'll see. We'll see. But I don't think Tommy is that loved of a character in the same way. Like, you don't have a strong emotional attachment to Tommy in the same way. I don't even know if emotional attachment is the right way to describe my relationship with Azula, but she brings back emotions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And she evokes a stronger response for sure. Although Tommy's got the nostalgia thing going for him. I think if it were all of the Rugrats babies lumped together, that would be a more formidable character. But yeah, I mean, you have Azula Final Four, so this is especially important for you. Or I guess we shouldn't be saying that, should we? But whoops.
Well,
it's out there.
I mean, at the end of the day, who knows? And there are a lot of people here predicting Tommy Pickles, so I'm not going to count them out.
Yep,
but I do think, and I think I've got some personal bias in here, but I'm thinking, at least in this one, I'm glad that I did not doubt the Avatar crowd. I did have, there's a couple of rounds that I'm starting to doubt myself on, but not these immediately upcoming games. I think Azula's favored here. I have been wrong before, so we'll see. I'm going to move forward to our next...
So next up we have the number 6 seed Nigel against the number 3 seed Danny Phantom. Danny wins with 66% of the vote. Ashley, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised here. I think we saw last year that Danny Phantom had a pretty strong run as a show, and I think, Danny Phantom as the main character, Danny Phantom, if you like the show, you probably have some kind of attachment to him. I did think that the memes had a chance with Nigel, but I'm not stunned that he didn't pull it out. Honestly, I think 34% of the vote as a pretty secondary character against Danny Phantom's main character is actually not too bad.
That's a good point, and it sometimes is unfair to individual characters how they end up facing off against title characters. It can't be helped, There's inherently going to be a more of a name recognition for the characters named after their shows. So, yeah, not shocked here. I truly have no idea how Danny Phantom's going to do moving forward.
That's the big question for me. So the next match we had was CatDog versus Helga. Helga won with 62% of the vote to CatDog's 38%. This one worries me more because
that was a little too close for comfort for me.
Because I don't think CatDog, like, Nigel people love because of the memes, because of the jokes, because he's great. CatDog, I never felt like was a particularly well-liked character.
No, not
and for
at
them
all.
to have similar percentages, Nigel versus Danny and Helga versus CatDog, having similar percentages kind of makes me feel pessimistic about Helga versus Danny here.
Well, maybe some people looked at this matchup and thought, I can vote for one character, or I can vote for two characters. And so they decided that CatDog, having two brains is the superior character. I don't know. Maybe.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see when it goes Helga versus Danny. But to be honest with you,
Danny's kind
I'm
of
not
two
feeling
characters
great.
too, though. So.
Oh, well. But if you think about it, Helga's two different characters too, Casey, because who she is in front of Arnold and who she is in secrecy.
You're so right. You're so right. So it cancels out. Well played.
I do think I like Helga better as a character. I don't want to pull votes one way or the other, but I would put money on Danny if I was putting money on any of these games.
Yeah, so we've got our final four for Conference A: Tommy, Azula, Danny, Helga. Truly, any of them could win this conference. Am I wrong there? I think it could be any one of the four of them.
I'll actually say that overall, I think that's pretty valid. I think it's a pretty valid Final Four there. I'm not super upset with anything that happened. I think that it's all pretty valid on that front. So
yeah, Lois is an amazing character. We've talked about her a lot on We're in Between, but after she almost lost to Waffle, I thought, no way she beats Azula.
And honestly, I like Azula better as a character, but that's me personally. I think that's a tough call to make, but
I do too.
Okay. I think that wraps up Conference A. Wanna jump on over to our next Avatar extravaganza?
Yeah, so we've got Prince Zuko versus Katara, the first Avatar matchup, possibly the only Avatar matchup, but Prince Zuko wins with 69% of the vote. Katara's got 31%. Katara made this closer than I would have thought, but last week we weren't really sure what was going to happen. I was saying that I really thought Prince Zuko would not be tested. I guess he sort of was for being a 1 seed, but he clears this round just fine. I
felt like he would have. Again, it was one of those, if I had to call the upsets, it was one that I could see some people really rooting for Katara on. If you're, if you're a fan of who she is and how she is. I think she's a really great character. I think Prince Zuko, he's so good. He's such amazing. A good character for so many reasons.
I might have bracketed it wrong. Like, Katara probably should have been somewhere else in a different... But, there's so much Avatar in this tournament. They were going to meet up.
They've got to meet up at some point, and we can't be too worried about making it fair, quote unquote, for each and every character. But in this case, I think Zuko was the right call. And I hope that he ends up beating out the next one. This one, actually, this upcoming one surprised me a good bit, and I might just be stupid on this here. Hugh Neutron beat Angelica Pickles with 71% of the vote. I'm not shocked that he won, but I didn't think he would win by that big of a spread, personally.
Yeah, nor did I, and now we're seeing that in round 2, the voting got a lot closer. Like, 71% wasn't really a huge victory in round 1, but in round 2, compared to the other matchups, this is a big statement for Hugh Neutron. I still don't think he stands a chance against Prince Zuko, but we'll have to see. I wonder if people predicted him.
I was gonna say, it's hard to tell, too. I don't know. I mean, Angelica's kind of a nasty character, but I also just didn't think Hugh Neutron was necessarily a character that stood... And don't get me wrong, I love Hugh Neutron. He has all of his amazing, lovely duck quotes, and he is great. And I'm honestly glad to see that he's pulling some good moments here in this bracket. But I think he'll lose to Zuko. I hope he loses to Zuko. He's fun and he's great, but he's nothing comparatively.
Yeah, no one predicted Hugh for this game, so
rough.
We'll have to see.
Well, he would be the underdog then. That would be a huge upset. That would break brackets.
Oh, I saw this YouTube video today where it's like the song 7 Years Old, and it goes, once I was, and then it cuts to Hugh Neutron, and he's going, 7 years old, surrounded by ducks. And he's like telling one of his anecdotes. And I guess he was telling a story from when he was 7.
There's the memes.
Yeah. You gotta love it. You just gotta love it.
But yeah, so moving forward, we've got our unnamed or somewhat named Timmy's dad did lose out to Patrick Star. I would have been shocked if it happened any other way. Patrick is, I mean, we're looking at two dumb characters against one another, right? Like, both Timmy's dad and Patrick Star are great characters because they're idiots. That's why we love them.
They're intelligent dumb, too, or they at least have big vocabularies, and that's part of why we love them.
But Patrick's by far more iconic overall. He's, I mean, no shocker there that in the Battle of the Dumbs, Patrick wins out.
Yeah. Oh, awful hybrid meme I just thought of for this specific matchup. And this is where I would put my mayonnaise if it was an instrument.
Oof.
No, I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna post it.
He's gonna make it. And honestly, I think our Friday night Nicktoons will love it.
Oh, we forgot to say it, didn't we?
Hey, but I said it now.
We'll
say it at least once per episode, Cam, I promise.
We'll just badly Photoshop Patrick's head. Actually, Cam, if you're listening and you want to do this, I'm just gonna start farming out tasks to listeners.
He made the nickname.
That's true.
I think you mean, Casey, that you are giving him the great, wonderful ability to create memes for us. It's an honor,
yeah,
Cam.
Very true. Very true. You might even get a retweet from the official account. What more could you want? Shall we move on to the bottom half of Prince Zuko versus Hugh? We kind of covered. Yeah, Zuko will probably win, but the memes.
Yeah.
Timmy and Patrick. Patrick won pretty handily. Now we have Ginger and Norbert Beaver. Unfortunately, the Angry Beavers was officially eliminated this round. Both of the Beavers lost, but great to see them both in that top 32. Ginger Foutley had 68% of the vote, a better showing than I think anyone expected for Ginger.
Yeah, I'm proud of her. She's a great character. I love her. And obviously we love As Told by Ginger as a show and all of the things that she goes through. That being said, Casey, this matchup is one that I cannot go into feeling way too optimistic for Ginger on.
No, yeah, I can't either. I will say I think Ginger has a better chance than I would have given her a week ago in this matchup. She's had 2 solid showings at this point.
I will totally agree.
Ickis crept up on her, but she's had, more than 65% for both matchups. Maybe our, we're in between listening audience pulls this one out for Ginger. I don't know.
Yeah, I would be happy to see it. Again, it's just one of those things. It's hard to say. Patrick is part of SpongeBob, and
he's so good too.
And he is.
You can't be mad if he wins, if he goes to the Elite Eight.
No, and that they're completely different characters is the thing too, right? Again, if we're doing Patrick versus Timmy's dad, it's fairly easy. Patrick's the king of the dumbs. Patrick versus Ginger is a very interesting matchup if you know these characters well, right? Ginger has this whole sort of, arc going on with her. She's this adolescent struggling with these, and Patrick is just ridiculous. They're just not, it's going to be interesting to see how the people vote. And I think you do have a good point though. I think the We're in Between folks probably are turning up a decent amount, and I think maybe she could pull through. It's I think though seed wise it's not. I think that would still kind of be an upset.
Yeah, I think so too. I probably should have made Patrick the 2 in this conference, but I can't think of 2 more different Nick characters. Maybe just Ginger and Ickis, but at least they're both Klasky Chupo, so...
Yeah, it's gonna be, like I said, if I had to guess, we're looking at Patrick winning that one out, but I would not be mad. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't think there are any outcomes in Conference A or B. No, you know what? Hugh beating out Zuko would actually make me mad. But the rest of them, I think I would be okay. I think I would live with any of those.
Yeah, I will say I think it'll be Zuko or Patrick that wins this conference.
I think so too. But I'm just saying, if it went the other way, right? If Ginger wins, I'd be like, all right. If Danny Phantom or Helga wins, I can come to terms with it. Even Tommy Pickles beating out Azula, I can live with that. I think there's valid rationale to the nostalgia factor that he has there. So nothing would make me... Some things would make me surprised. Nothing would make me angry, at least in Conference A or B. Just being real here.
Yeah. Hugh Neutron versus Danny Phantom would make me a little angry in the Final Four, but...
Yeah, well... I'm saying for these specific matchups, Casey, not the...
Yeah, not thinking far ahead, yeah.
No. Just this next upcoming games, the immediately following ones, none of these are going to make me furious.
Yeah, agreed. Shall we head over to C?
Let's do it.
All right, we got SpongeBob and Carl Weezer, one that, we thought SpongeBob would win, and we were right. He got 79% of the vote. Carl was, a great character, but it's tough to beat the sponge.
Yeah, it's hard to say where SpongeBob could get knocked out. I think though, and I'm gonna go ahead and just jump through here because I don't think SpongeBob versus Carl is super interesting. SpongeBob's the sponge, as Casey said. But I think it's more interesting looking ahead. So we'd had Sokka versus Eliza. We had Sokka winning with 81% of the vote. And this is one of those where I'm not sure if I gave Avatar enough credit or not. I don't think Sokka will knock out SpongeBob, but I can't say for sure. A lot of people really love Sokka.
Yeah, Sokka has been doing so well. He crushed Eliza Thornberry with 81% of the vote. Sokka has had no challengers. He's a 12 seed. If anyone in this little subsection of bracket C could do it, I think Sokka could, but I expect SpongeBob to win this one. It's Aang that I think
too.
might give SpongeBob some trouble, but...
That is true. But I just... It is one that... It makes me pause a little bit more than I would have at the beginning of the tournament. At the beginning of the tournament, I would have told you, oh yeah, SpongeBob will murder Sokka in his sleep. But now I'm thinking it might be a little tighter than I was originally guessing. I'm thinking like closer to a 70-30, 65-35 split.
Maybe.
Than I would have at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, sure is interesting, though. Sokka has been the most fascinating character to watch for me, because people, they love him. I like him too, but I really thought 12 was a fair seed for him, but I guess not.
Yeah, and we haven't really had Avatar content before, so
Right.
I said we didn't know. We didn't know what to think.
Mm-hmm.
Next round was Rocco versus Grandpa Phil. And Grandpa Phil won pretty decently, 61% to Rocco's 39%. So actually, I think one of the closer, not the closest, but one of the closer matchups of our time out here. But
yeah, and this eliminated Rocco's Modern Life from the tournament, which is unfortunate. But Grandpa Phil, he's got to be Sweet 16, right?
he's awesome, and I'm glad that he made it this far. I do think, though, that Aang is gonna be killing it. So Aang beat out his Hey Arnold rival here, 87% to Gerald's 13%. So, though I do think that if we put Gerald against Grandpa Phil, I think Grandpa Phil would win. If we're going show against show, right? We're looking like Aang's probably going to have a pretty handy win against Grandpa Phil if I had to guess on this one.
Yeah, this one, I guess you're right, judging by this round, the percentages, but...
And it's not perfect.
Right. But really, I could see Grandpa Phil pulling it off. I don't know. The more I think about it, I think Aang actually has a good shot at this Final Four. It seemed like it was SpongeBob's conference from day one, and now it's like, well, I don't know. I don't see Grandpa Phil or Sokka winning this conference, but I could see Aang pulling it off. I really could. And I think deservedly so.
I think it's just tough to say anything yet. We haven't seen the primary, we haven't seen the Patrick Star and the SpongeBobs here in our world facing off against any real contenders yet. And I think we will, and I think it's going to be an interesting thing. I think if I had to go down a bit, I think we're going to have a SpongeBob versus Aang and a Prince Zuko versus Patrick Star. And the outcomes of those two games, I am so uncertain of, Casey. Like, so incredibly uncertain.
Yeah, and we love SpongeBob, obviously. We've covered it almost more than any other show. Maybe the most. I can't remember now. But honestly, I don't know. SpongeBob versus Avatar, they're just so hard to compare.
They're so hard to compare, and they're so great in such different ways. And I'm just not sure. I like I said, we haven't really had them against anything to know yet, right? Like SpongeBob versus Carl, SpongeBob versus Ablina. We had Patrick versus Timmy's dad and Tucker Carbuncle. Like we're talking. Just there hasn't been anything for us to really be able to know based on the votes. So I think those getting to the Final Four is going to be the most fascinating for me. I think things could go so many crazy ways, Casey. So many crazy ways.
This Conference D is nuts.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah. So you know how I was like, yeah, okay, like things were interesting, whatever, but not a big deal. This is when things started to break down a bit.
Yes.
We have our first upset here of Arnold Shortman versus Cosmo. Cosmo wins with 54% of the vote. That was a tight match. 54% to 46. I think that's the closest match we've had this year, right?
Yeah, it was only within a couple votes. It's tied for the closest. I think the Lois or somebody was closer in round one.
Yeah,
but this one was brutal, and I was very sad to see Arnold go. I decided not to be all dramatic about it because we still have Helga alive, but I did not expect Arnold to get out this early and a number 1 seed to go down and not even make the Sweet 16. That's pretty brutal.
I was gonna say I did have this one in my predictions. Again, sometimes you gotta call a couple of upsets just to call them. And I had a weird feeling about Cosmo as a character. And I don't know why, but I just had a weird feeling about him. And I just felt like people know him better, maybe. And maybe, I don't even know. This one's weird. This is a weird situation to happen. I think a lot of people were not expecting that to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But him, the lighthearted Cosmo versus the grumpy Squidward coming up. So Squidward beat out Invader Zim by quite a lot. Again, I think we learned our lesson from last year. We had all of these expectations for Zim votes to be flying all over the place and for the fandom to be ridiculous, and I don't think it's as strong as we thought it was. So Zim with only 27% of the vote. Again, we've got a situation here where there's 3 SpongeBob characters and 4 Avatar. I guess it depends on where you place Korra.
Yeah,
But those are by far the rating shows.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that we had 3 upsets out of the 4 matchups in Conference D here. So now we have a 9 seed, a 5 seed, a 6 seed, and then Timmy, the 2 seed, made it all the way. But, Cosmo has now pulled off double upsets. He's the only character to have done that.
You know what's interesting here, too?
Sokka, too. Sokka also pulled off double upsets.
In the Squidward versus Cosmo matchup, we have a bunch of people who have definitively wrong predictions. We have 4 predictions for Cosmo and only 2 for Squidward.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. Again, we've shown time and time again that prediction percentages are not correlated with voting percentages. But I do think it's interesting that a lot of people have, and I'm one of them, so there's that. But I think it's interesting that a lot of people have this much faith in Cosmo moving forward, because he's not, I don't know. I honestly don't love Cosmo that much. I didn't vote for Cosmo.
Cosmo's great. I might vote for Cosmo over Squidward.
Against Squidward, that's kind of where I'm thinking now too, right? Squidward's kind of a grump, but like, I don't know.
And,
this one I'm interested
Cosmo
to see.
Could Cosmo then beat Korra or Timmy? Like, kind of. Right? If Cosmo could beat Arnold, Cosmo could win this whole conference.
And yeah, that would be wild. That would truly be wild. Which, yikes. Yeah, I don't even know anymore. I don't even know. I did not expect. Again, I wasn't super, super crazy shocked that he beat out Arnold, but now I'm not sure. I'm just not sure what's happening. This, of all the conferences, I know I've said, like, oh, I'm really uncertain on this, I'm really unsure about this. Conference D, I have no clue. Like, yeah. I feel like I'm just spewing garbage and hoping that if I say everything, then I can't be wrong.
Jimmy Neutron went down. Like, what on earth is happening?
I was stunned. Okay. And this is one of those moments where, like I said, I think I was underestimating the Avatar vote and overestimating the Jimmy vote. I thought for sure Jimmy was going to win this. Like, I wasn't even really that concerned. I was like, Jimmy Neutron's got all of our Jimmy Neutron fans. We see their memes. We've got that the Jimmy Neutron page or whatever that retweets our things. Maybe they're going to retweet this too, and Jimmy's just going to kill it. And he's out. Is Jimmy Neutron? No. Hugh Neutron has made it further than Jimmy Neutron. Can we soak that in for a second?
Yeah.
That's wild, isn't it?
That is wild. And like, what's the difference? Do we have new voters? Because, like, when Jimmy Neutron made the finals last year, I assumed it was on the basis of Jimmy Neutron, the character, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe it's more just they like the ensemble, but they don't
Yeah.
necessarily love any given character a whole lot.
Maybe.
And again, I think Cora is a fantastic character. She's phenomenal, she's strong, and I love her. So I'm not mad, but I was surprised. Like, I thought we were going to have the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. A lot of
Yeah.
people did.
But now we have a Cora, Timmy...
Nope.
Hold on, there's a pun. There's an Ora pun here. What's power in Spanish? I already forgot. Poder.
Yeah.
Yeah, poder.
That's the one.
Ora poder. No, doesn't
No,
work.
this is bad. This is really bad, guys.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
But yeah, Timmy beat out Daggett Beaver 85%, 15%. That's the one completely uninteresting game. Not an upset, and Beaver's again officially out of the tournament here. But Timmy versus Cora, I don't even know anymore. Squidward versus Cosmo, who could tell you? And amongst all of those, I genuinely think any one of them could be in the final four. Like, I
Yep.
could see it going to any one of those four, depending on what happens. Like, Conference D, I have no idea. It is a mess.
What are you doing?
It is a
You're
mess.
drunk, Conference D. Go home. You're cut off. Yeah,
So-
I have no idea. I could totally see a Cosmo versus Cora Elite Eight. That wouldn't really shock me. Do people love Timmy? I don't know. And Cora's been just knocking down haters
Yeah,
this
so-
whole tournament.
Like overall, I would say Conference B, I can see the overall winner being Patrick or Zuko, and I'd be surprised otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Conference A, I would guess either Danny or Azula, and I'd be relatively... Yeah, you know what?
Any of the four still for me.
Tommy, I think, is the most surprising one for me, honestly. I think Tommy beating out Azula is the most shocking possibility there. But even so, just the individual games I'm more certain of or feeling more confident in than Conference D over there. I just don't know. We've got a bunch of weird matchings happening here, too. Again, we've got these... Now, but I don't know. After the Jimmy Neutron thing, I'm feeling like Cora's got a pretty strong shot against Timmy Turner. Because I felt like people liked Jimmy more than Timmy. And I'll admit this now because it doesn't matter anymore. I had Jimmy beating Timmy in that game. So I actually had him making it even further. But if Cora can beat out the character that I thought was going to beat out Timmy, does that mean she can also beat out Timmy? I don't know.
Right, that's
I
my
don't
logic
know.
too. It's like, well, if I had this person, but that's
Yeah,
the thing. Once
it's
a
not that
major
simple.
upset happens, everything goes out the window.
Yeah. So I think we're exhausting this now, but there's a lot of really intense games. I think no matter what happens, we're gonna have a wild Final Four.
Yeah, we are.
Which we'll get into the schedule of voting, guys, but it's gonna break down pretty quick.
It is. So a real quick rundown of the shows that are now out of the tournament. Ren and Stimpy, Ah Real Monsters, Cat Scratch, Teenage Robot, Doug, Rocket Power, Chalk Zone, Cat Dog, Rocco's, Angry Beavers, Thornberries, and Invader Zim. Still remaining in the tournament, from least to most, Legend of Korra with 1, Danny Phantom with 1, As Told by Ginger with 1, Rugrats with 1, Fairly Odd Parents with 2, Jimmy Neutron, only with 1 actually, Hey Arnold with 2, SpongeBob with 3, and Avatar The Last Airbender with 4. They are all in... Oh no, they're not all in different conferences, but with Korra, we could still have our all-Avatar Final Four.
Yeah, and who knows? Who does? I will say, we do have an interesting situation. We've got Jimmy Neutron with its title character knocked out, and Hey Arnold with its title character knocked out, but still alive.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's interesting stuff going on here.
That
The
is
rest of them,
interesting.
right? Ginger is the title character
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Tommy is arguably the protagonist of
Yes.
Rugrats, if you had to call one. Danny Phantom of Danny Phantom. But we've got weird leftover characters from Jimmy Neutron and and Hey Arnold now.
And Fairly Odd Parents. I mean, we have Timmy, of course, but, Cosmo. And
Cosmo is the floater there.
so that
The
means
rest of them,
Avatar and
yeah.
SpongeBob make up almost... Okay, let's lump Korra into Avatar, right? Avatar characters plus SpongeBob characters are half of the remaining.
Yeah, that's nuts. Which, we put a lot of shows in here, too. Like, I think we did a pretty good job of not showing too much show bias to anything. Like, Rocco's had 4 characters in there.
And they're
Rocket
all
Power
gone.
had 4 characters. Like, we tried to spread them. Thornberry's had 4 characters.
Yeah,
Zim had 3.
The people have
Wrecked.
spoken,
Yeah, so, anyways, yeah, I think I would be surprised to see a champion who is not from either Avatar or SpongeBob as a show. But I'm not gonna say it can't happen because I've been more than wrong before in my life. So we'll see what happens here. But that being said, now that I keep talking about predictions and whatnot, do we want to have a quick peek into our prediction brackets?
Yeah, the first thing I want to say is we've had 3 champions eliminated. So someone predicted Nigel, someone predicted Katara, and someone predicted Carl. All 3 of those are gone. Everyone else's champions are still alive. Interestingly enough, that if you look at the final 4 predictions, that Conference D pick is in total chaos right now. It's mostly red between Jimmy, Zim, and Arnold being gone. It's chaos.
Yeah, things are looking rough. Honestly, we're looking at. No, do we have? Okay, we still have all of the remaining characters. I was gonna say, is there a possibility that there's a game that's all red? But I don't think not yet.
Yeah, not quite, but there are ones that people.
No, like I think there's enough diversity that I don't think that there's.
Right.
I don't think there's any chances. Right, like somebody has to be right.
Right, that's true, except for this Prince Zuko versus Hugh game coming up.
Oh, you're right.
No one has
If Hugh wins, then 1, crazy madness happens to people's brackets, but 2, yeah, that would be a straight red game.
Yeah. And some people's brackets are just done. Not many, but like my roommate Michael, unfortunately, his points possible is 73 out of a possible 192. My friend Courtney not doing so hot. AC Wilder not doing so hot. Everyone else still has somewhat of a chance. Ray is in first, completely dominant, has only gotten 3 points wrong. 2 matchups. That was Lois Foutley over Azula, which was wrong, and then Sam Manson over Norbert Beaver, which was also wrong. Ray's crushing it. In second, we have Toasty with 56 points, and then in third, we have Ashley. So, well done there, Ashley, but I'm right there behind you.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Sir Toasty, was he the winner of last year?
Am
I misremembering?
Sir Toasty
No.
did pretty well, but it was, we always forget and then we remember. It had like an animal in the name and some numbers.
Okay.
Oh God, what was his name?
We can cross that part out then.
No, I got this.
Oh, Mega Ferret.
Yeah, Mega Ferret. Nice.
Okay. I was gonna say Sir Toasty I think was in the uppers.
What it was
last year
you
as
and
well,
Sir
though.
Toasty had almost identical brackets.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, and I think that there was a point where like I knew that I couldn't win anymore because Sir Toasty had like a possible 1 more point than me. Then like no matter what happened, I wasn't going to get first place because of Sir Toasty. That's why you stick out in my mind, good old Toasty. But hey, yeah, it's still there's a lot of people up in the upper levels there. There's still a lot of games left to happen, so I'm not going to call anything too soon yet. I just always want to beat Casey, but I also, looking at some of the predictions, if Casey was right on some things, it would be the situation where I would be like, you know what, those characters earned it. So
yeah. And a quick correction that Cam helped us out with, and that I called Ashley on right as we were done recording. It is a exponential.
You are right. Yeah.
Point system. So
it was a long day.
Yeah, totally. No worries. Just want to set the record straight. The points.
I think
are now going to be worth 4 for the next round.
Was that I was looking at so many 2s and then so many 4s, right? Like
Yeah.
it's exponential per round, but I was thinking like, no, there's no way it would be a way bigger number, but that's because in every column we're not increasing, right?
Well, if round 4 was worth 6 points and then and then 8 and then 10, it would have been a slope of 2, but instead we're going 4 to 8 to 16. Like, getting the championship right gets you 32 points. That's
right.
how it works.
I just mean that, like, looking at this,
oh, totally.
I saw so many columns, and I was like, if you went exponential by 2, it would be way higher than 32 by the end of this, right?
Right.
But
yeah.
if you had a slope of 2 for that many columns, you'd still probably be above 32, but it would be far closer, right? Anyways, it doesn't matter. I was wrong. My engineering degree is worth nothing.
Yeah, so that's the next batch of points are going to be worth 4 per game, so they're getting more important. And the important thing is keeping your Final Four alive, keeping your champion alive. That's what's going to win you this tournament. So, Ray, as good as you're doing, and you've still got everybody perfectly in there for the most part, yeah, you have all points possible from here on out, but we'll see. Anything can happen.
I think these next games will probably not definitively break any brackets, but definitely I think we're going to see some movement in bracket ranking.
Oh, 100%. This will all change by next week, I think.
Yeah, so I think that about sums it up. Are we ready to conclusion it out?
I think so. Let's do it. Alright guys, so our Twitter poll once again will just be the matchups this week. No actual Twitter poll, we're keeping those on hold until after Nick Madness. Round 3 voting will take place on Sunday the 18th. It'll be a 2-day Twitter poll, and now we have few enough games where we can do them all on the same day. So look forward to that and get your computers, phones, tablets ready to vote on Twitter on Sunday the 18th.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big day. It's gonna be, or I guess a big 2 days, but still, it's gonna be a lot of stress. Make sure to, if you're feeling like there's not enough votes going for your favorite character, feel free to retweet these just to get more population. If you think, if more people voted in this, my favorite character would have a better shot, like, get the word out, spread it out, people. Like, more people that vote, the more accurate of a representation we're getting, right? So,
very true.
Anyways, next week we will discuss our round 3 results, and we'll see how terribly wrong I was about everything. We'll see who the new prediction bracket leaders are, which probably not me, and we'll preview round 4.
Yeah,
I'm an optimist.
Yeah, which will be those intense Elite 8 games. It's been crazy enough getting here. I can't imagine what's going to go down on Sunday, let alone a week from then. So, super pumped about that. Again, do all that voting on Twitter at FNN_podcast. Check out our Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcast pages. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much as always for listening, you guys, and we'll catch you next week.